Ideas are a dime a dozen. They're everywhere, all the time, all at once. And it's really hard to tell that we're even being influenced by them. I've engaged in some extremely diverse think tanks through the years, only to find that the majority of people that come to these just want to be heard. See, everyone seems to be an expert, and yet most of us aren't even able to really complete daily tasks on a normal basis, much less lead others to the promised land. So why do so many people claim to be gurus or masters of so many things? One of the greatest buzzwords of today is authenticity. I've chosen to use the term real or pure regarding oneself. My personal belief is that a type of renaissance birthed from the pandemic, yet it didn't birth as much as creative expression. It birthed more of an introspection. So people are trying to create who they want to be. The prior is on the brink, but the latter is way too heavy in the noise of ideas and the marketplace of thought. So now the world is full of people offering a pathway to a new life, a path to freedom, a path to discovery. And I don't disavow that these people have had some unique discoveries. My own frameworks are entitled with such lingo. So if everyone is offering the way to success, who's really in need of it? And how do we know who to listen to? How do we measure the truth of the claims? It's really hard. And often it's too easy to fall into a ditch with slick clay sides that prevent us from getting out. So we just continue to walk back and forth in the same muck to the next guy, thinking that he may have the answer we're looking for. The real solution begins with knowing how we're influenced, and then maybe we'd be able to make better decisions on who we follow and listen to. The way we engage with ideas profoundly influences our beliefs and decisions and the directions that we choose every single day. Every thought that we entertain carries the potential, without our knowledge, to shape who we are and how we see the world. Many of us are quick to accept concepts simply because, well, this is the first we've heard. They reach us first. Familiarity brings a type of comfort, creating a natural resistance to anything that doesn't go along with it or any alternative views. These differing perspectives are not necessarily flawed, but they challenge what we've already invested time and energy into believing. And I believe it becomes like an attack on our core identity. Defending the initial idea becomes less about its truth and more about preserving our attachment to it. So this phenomenon arises often from the anchoring fallacy, which is a cognitive bias where the first information in or encountered becomes the foundation for all other filters or judgments. When we build our understanding on an initial belief, we rarely consider that it might be incomplete, limited, or honestly incorrect. Ideas and beliefs adopted early in the process of this tend to solidify, not because they're infallible, but because they feel, like I said, personal. Questioning them threatens the foundation that we've constructed, and so we hold on to dear life. The more energy we pour into validating these beliefs, then it becomes harder and harder and harder to entertain alternative perspectives, especially opposing ones. Protecting these ideas then becomes like a reflex, even when better ideas exist. A similar dynamic shapes how we choose the voices that we listen to and follow. When we find someone whose ideas resonate, there's a strong tendency to absorb their words, to gorge ourselves with very little scrutiny. We consume their opinions as if they're universal truths, leaving no space for critical reflection. The alignment we feel with their perspective often blinds us to the need for evaluation. Over time, we mistake the satisfaction of agreement for true understanding. The more we immerse ourselves in their worldview, the more it feels like the only reasonable worldview that we can have. And anything outside of this begins to feel irrelevant. And it also even begins to feel wrong, like it doesn't align with who we really are. This pattern becomes especially dangerous when applied to thought leaders who present themselves as authorities in personal transformation, psychology, therapy, freedom, success, those types of things. Their language was often very polished, their arguments compelling, and their presence magnetic. They create the illusion of expertise, offering answers to questions we may not have even known to ask. Yet we rarely stop to consider, how do they come to know this stuff? The ability to articulate ideas effectively is not the same as living through the challenges that those ideas address. Without evidence of personal experience, their authority remains questionable. should. Consider the difference between someone who speaks about climbing a mountain and someone who's actually reached the summit. The first might describe the climb with precision, poetically, using facts and maps, secondhand stories. And you might even imagine yourself with them on that mountain. They might convince you that they know the way, but the second person has felt the weight of the climb in their legs, experienced the thinness of the air, and seen the view from the top, not knowing if they would even survive it. Their understanding comes from something deeper than observation. It is lived. Authentic guidance comes from those who have walked the journey they describe, not from those who have studied it from a distance. This distinction is critical when choosing whom to follow. Transformation is not an academic exercise. It's a deeply personal journey. The words of someone who has genuinely walked the path, they do carry a depth and a resonance that theoretical knowledge will never touch, won't even match. Authentic leadership stems from lived experience because an authentic leader has arrived at a place that other people can see, not just hear a story about what might be. The individual who has reached the place you aspire to be is far more likely to offer meaningful insights than someone who simply speaks of what they've seen or studied. Their words carry weight because they've faced the struggles. They've embraced the lessons. They've earned the wisdom that they share. Following a voice that lacks this foundation can lead to frustration and stagnation. Honestly, I believe it could lead to disaster. Ideas that sound logical or persuasive fall apart when applied to real-life challenges. It's not enough for someone to speak eloquently or think clearly. Their life must reflect the transformation they promise. If they've not embodied the change they claim to teach, they cannot, let me tell you this, they cannot guide others to it. And though they may have embodied some things of a journey they offer, if they're not where they're telling you to go, they're simply lying. This is not to say we can't learn from those who think deeply or speak compellingly. But when seeking guidance for personal growth, discernment is very paramount. As a matter of fact, it's essential. So careful evaluation of a mentor or leader's standing can save significant time and serve you well in the process. And honestly, it will help you not fall apart when you seem to find a lack of hope. Do their actions align with their words? Have they walked the path they describe? Do their experiences resonate with your aspirations? See, these questions aren't meant to dismiss their ideas, but to ensure that the foundation that you're building your life on is solid. Words alone are not enough. By assessing whether someone's life reflects the transformation they describe, can you determine their credibility? Establishing a course of action, using a message without guided application from experience is the opposite of autonomy. It's slavery. I want you to think about that for a second. Only by assessing whether someone's life reflects the transformation they describe can you determine their credibility. Establishing a course of action using a message without guided application from experience is the opposite of autonomy. It's slavery. Consider your current influences as I repeat that. Who are the voices that are the loudest? Who are the voices shaping your thoughts, your decisions, and beliefs? Are they leading you toward alignment with your values and goals, or are they simply reinforcing comfortable patterns? Are they offering wisdom gained through experience, or are they merely echoes of someone else's insights? These are not easy questions to ask, but they are necessary. The way we engage with ideas determines whether we grow, remain stagnant, or drift further from our true selves. The easiest way to remain a slave to another person's ideas is to follow a slave. To engage deeply with ideas is to approach them with curiosity and care. It's to question, reflect, and explore without fear of challenging what feels familiar. Growth requires more than adopting beliefs that feel right in the moment. It demands alignment with your values, your personal reflection, and the courage to seek out voices that have truly walked the path you wish to follow. When you invite the right influences in your life, you create space for genuine transformation that is rooted in clarity, that is rooted in strength, and rooted in truth. So, how do we test it? I know this has gotten a little bit lengthy, but I feel like I need to continue to push this process. To engage deeply with ideas and align our beliefs with truth, we must actively test and filter the information we consume. This is not passive. It requires intention, reflection, and a willingness to challenge the voices that shape us. Ideas that guide us toward transformation must meet higher standards, especially when they claim to lead us to freedom, to success, or to fulfillment. At the core of this process is the principle that leaders are learners. A true leader is not someone who's arrived at a final destination, but who is continually moving forward. They're not static monuments of success, but evolving participants in their own journey of discovery, alignment, refinement, and amplification. A genuine leader's path is marked by progress and humility, showing that they're not merely teaching, but actively learning alongside us. To test and filter the information we consume, I've thought about this and developed some action steps grounded in this framework. So, discovery. Question the source. Before adopting a perspective, ask foundational questions about its origin. How did this person come to know what they're sharing? Did they live it, or are they speaking secondhand? What evidence supports their claims? Are they rooted in experience, observation, or speculation? What is their journey? Look for signs that they're actively walking the path they teach. A true leader remains engaged in their own growth and learning. The goal of discovery is clarity. Avoid building your beliefs on incomplete or untested ideas. Instead, seek voices that inspire reflection and challenge assumptions. 2, alignment. Compare their message to your own values. Not every perspective will align with your unique path, and that's okay. The key is to determine whether the ideas you are consuming are moving you closer to your core values or pulling you away. Does this perspective align with what matters most to you? Are the ideas leading you toward greater authenticity and purpose? Are their values visible? Do their actions reflect the principles they teach? See, alignment requires integrity in both their life and your life. Are they helping you to grow or just keeping you comfortable? True alignment requires a push into discomfort as you realign your actions with your beliefs. 3, refinement. Test the ideas in your life. No idea is valuable until it's tested. Refinement is the process of taking what you've heard and putting it into practice. Can you apply their guidance to your life? If a principle can't stand under real-world challenges, it's trash. It's not a principle worth following. Do their ideas bring clarity or confusion? Refined truth simplifies and sharpens your perspective, while untested ideas often add unnecessary complexity. What happens when you push back? If you find gaps or flaws, refine the idea further. Leaders worth following welcome this thoughtful dialogue and these questions and this refinement in their own life. See, refinement deepens your understanding and reveals the difference between what works and only what sounds good. The 4th, amplification. Assess their continued growth and impact. A true leader demonstrates consistent progress, not perfection. Amplification requires humility, as it's not about showcasing a polished image, but inspiring others by living authentically, purely, as a real, live person. Are they actively growing? Look for signs that they're learners, continually refining their understanding and evolving in their journey. Getting other people involved, collaborating. Do they empower others? Genuine leaders amplify the growth of those around them. They're not gatekeepers, but they're guides, encouraging others to step into their own paths. Are they transparent? Leaders who share their struggles and lessons create space for authentic connection rather than building walls of unattainable perfection. Amplification is not about arriving at a fixed destination, but embracing the continual journey toward greater alignment and purpose. See, the primary test of a leader is their willingness to keep moving forward. Leaders who have arrived become stagnant. True leaders, as I've already said, are learners, always progressing, always curious, always growing. They demonstrate this through their actions, their humility, and transparency. There's some things to think about. How about assessing leadership through a few questions? Are they open to learning? Do they show curiosity in their personal and professional lives? Do their actions match their words? Integrity is non-negotiable for authentic leadership. Matter of fact, authenticity and integrity are synonymous. Are they building others up? A true leader equips others to grow rather than seeking to hoard influence. So what are you supposed to do? What's your role in this process? As we seek truth and transformation, our responsibility is to engage with ideas with intention. The journey to discover, align, refine, and amplify does not stop with those we follow. It must also reflect in how we lead ourselves. Each idea we consume and apply should bring us closer to living authentically and inspiring those around us. The next time you encounter a perspective or an idea or a belief or a leader, pause to evaluate their standing. Ask the hard questions. Test the ideas. Align them with your values. Refine them through action. Amplify the ones that hold true. Transformation is not found in blindly following, but in courageously walking a path shaped by clarity, alignment, and growth. So think about this for just a moment. For your mind. Our minds are wired to seek patterns and stability. This is why the first idea or perspective we encounter often becomes our anchor. Psychologically, this is the anchoring effect, where our brains latch onto initial information and use it as the foundation for everything else that we see. When we invest time and energy or emotion into a belief, our minds resist, as I've already said, in letting it go. This is a survival mechanism designed to conserve our energy, our emotions, and our peace, but it will always limit our growth. Engaging the process of discovering, aligning, refining, and amplifying ideas counteracts this tendency. Each step invites critical thinking, helping us move from automatic responses to intentional choices, acts of the will. By questioning the origin of an idea, aligning it with our values, testing its validity through action, and observing whether it fosters growth, we break free from the mental shortcuts. This process creates space for discovery, clarity, and empowers us to think deeply and act authentically. When we approach this with care, our minds can be trained to embrace curiosity over comfort, growth over familiarity, and truth over assumption. The result is not a stronger belief system only, but a mind that is sharper, better equipped to navigate the complexities of life, and most importantly, free. So, if you're ready to move beyond the surface level ideas and truly engage with the kind of thinking that transforms lives, I'm here to walk with you. Whether you're navigating these complex beliefs, seeking clarity, or striving to align your actions with your values, you don't have to do it alone. Together, we can explore your path, challenge assumptions, and refine your journey toward real growth. The next step is yours, and I'm here to walk it with you. You can reach out, and we can start uncovering the truth that will shape your future. But first, you better test the story that I'm giving you. And moreover, the results. Are you listening?